When you buy a franchise, you're pretty much buying a business in a box. Now, if you want to start from scratch, you're going to probably do what I did. Firstly, nobody knew me. Nobody knew me and nobody knew my company. I had to build up my brand reputation, and that takes a very long time. When we sign a new franchisee into our network, the reversal is true for all of those. That's what I mean by a business in a box. Hey everyone, welcome to Courtside Conversations. My name's Emile, founder and owner of Little Boomers Basketball, and it's a pleasure to be your host today. Wherever you're watching today's episode, I hope you're having a booming day, and yes, the pun is intended. My journey to entrepreneurship started on May 1st, 2018 when I launched my first basketball program with 9 kids enrolled. Today, thousands of kids across Australia are thriving in our programs, all thanks to the commitment and passion of our incredible franchisees. This podcast is here to give you real, straightforward, no BS insights into business, entrepreneurship, and what it's like to own a franchise. Without further ado, let's get into today's episode. Welcome back to Courtside Conversations. Emile here, founder and owner of Little Boomers Basketball. Today's episode is a great episode. We are going to be talking about starting from scratch versus investing in a franchise. And this is a really, really important topic that you need to think about if you're thinking about going into entrepreneurship and starting your own business, because there's 2 avenues that you can take. And if you don't understand what each avenue entails, you could potentially make the wrong decision and lose a lot of money and time along the way. So that's what we're going to be talking about in today's episode. Now, I want to ask you a question. When I say the word franchise or franchising, what immediately comes to the top of your mind? Have a think about it. When I say franchising, what comes to the top of your mind? I'll tell you what comes to my mind. And this was back in 2018. When somebody said franchising, I thought straight away McDonald's, 7-Eleven, big enterprises and big companies that are massive and global. And that's not true, because in franchising, you've got all types of franchises. You've got really small ones like cleanup companies for about $5,000 or $10,000. And then you've got the really big franchises like the McDonald's and the 7-Elevens. So don't think franchising is only for those big, massive companies. That's one of the misconceptions that people have. Now, I did a quick Google search before today's video, and I typed in how Webster and Temple define franchising. And this is the definition I got. The right or license granted to an individual or group to market a company's goods or services in a particular area. Now, I wasn't academically gifted. I wasn't good at school at all. When I read that definition, I don't know about you, but that went straight over my head. And if it did for you, I really don't blame you. Let's break it down into simple, easy to understand terms. How I define franchising is a business in a box. Pretend that you're on Amazon. You can't do this, but just play with it for a bit. Pretend you're on Amazon and you buy a business in a box and it comes to you the next day. You open up that box, and inside that box, you've got everything. You've got your marketing templates. You've got your operations manual on how to run the business. You've got a playbook for finding staff, a playbook for the suppliers, how to order equipment, how to scale your franchise. There's systems and operations for every part of the business. And you're like, wow, this is awesome. How do I do this? I open up this playbook. I do this. How do I invest in marketing? I do this. And essentially, that's what you're doing when you buy a franchise. You're pretty much buying a business in a box. Now, we're going to go in a little bit more detail about that, but I want to give you a story in 2018. So in 2018, May 1st, I declared that I wanted to start my own business, a children's basketball company. Now, I had no idea that franchising existed and that was an option. There's many children's sports franchises out there. I had no idea that you can franchise. I just started on my own in 2018. I built everything from the ground up. Now, if you want to start from scratch, you're going to probably do what I did. And this is exactly what I did. I take you through the entire journey, right? Firstly, nobody knew me. Nobody knew me and nobody knew my company. I had to build up my brand reputation, and that takes a very long time. I had to create a logo and a business name. I then had to create some type of website, and you will have to do the same. I had to create a website. In that website, I had to create a booking system for parents to enroll into the program. This is all the stuff that you will need to do if you're going down that path of starting your own business. Then I had to create the programs, all the programs that the kids were going to do. I had to build those up from the scratch, the warm-up, the skills, the different age groups, the 3 to 4 program, 4 to 5, 6 to 8, 9 to 12, pretty much the core of my product line. I had to create that from scratch. Now, I had no uniform. I didn't have this. I didn't have any basketballs. I didn't have any coach's uniform. I didn't have any uniform for the kids. What did I have to do? Had to find suppliers from China, had to get samples to come down, had to test it, had to get the pricing right. And that takes a lot of time. I had to get all of that done. You have to establish connections with your suppliers, and any product, any company, you will need to do the same as well. Then I had to build the social media profiles, the Facebook, the Instagram, TikTok wasn't around there. So I had to build it. I had to build that, and that takes a lot of time. Creating reoccurring posts and getting in the habit of posting 5 times a week and showcasing your services, that takes a lot of time. So that's also what I had to do when I was starting from scratch. Then I had to create a marketing campaign. Yeah, awesome. That's great. I've got a website. Everything's up and going. But how am I going to market my product or service? How am I going to get parents to know about the basketball program I'm offering for kids and enroll their child? So I had to do a marketing campaign, an email campaign, had to do Facebook ads, had to actually learn Facebook and Instagram ads and all those other marketing channels to promote my classes. Then guess what? Had to expand the product line. I only started offering products or services for 6 to 12-year-olds, or 6 to 8. I then offered a 9 to 12 program, kids basketball, birthday parties, primary school programs, holiday camps, and I had to establish the product line to make sure we're offering a wide variety of products. And as a business owner, that's something you would need to do. You can't just be dependent on one product line. You need to have multiple product lines. Hey, just quickly, if you're enjoying today's episode, it will mean the world to me if you can leave a positive review or share it with a friend that may benefit from this. I've also put some bonus resources in the description, including a real franchise case study that you can download under our Franchise Success Blueprint. Hope you find it useful. Enjoy the rest of the episode and rock on. Adios. Then I had to find and recruit coaches because I wanted to scale my business. I didn't want to be coaching every single day, right? I wanted to expand to new locations, open up new classes. And to do that, you need to build a coaching team. I had no idea where to find coaches, how to train them, how to be a leader. So then I had to create like a guide and a playbook on how to recruit coaches. And then finally, I needed to scale my business in 2018, right? Like, that was awesome. I had all those stuff, but now I actually had to scale the franchise. It wasn't a franchise back then. It was a business, forgive me. I had to scale my business, expand new classes, find new venues, enter into different programs. And that's everything that I needed to do. Now, there was obviously some more stuff along the way, but those are all the major pillars that I needed to do to get the business up and running. And if you're going to start from scratch, you're more than likely going to have to do all those different things, which takes a lot of time. Now, that's starting from scratch. When we sign a new franchisee into our network and they come in, the reversal is true for all of those. They don't have to create a logo. They get back-end access to our website. We've already created the website. They get back-end access so they can manage all of their enrollments, view their classes, add new classes, all that type of stuff. We've got all of our programs on an app that they get access to, so they don't have to create the drills, figure out what they're going to do with the kids. What am I going to do in this class? We've got an app that them and their coaches get access to. They order supplies from us, so they don't need to find out, how do I order basketballs? How do I do that? That's what I mean by a business in a box. All they need to do is place an order with us, they pay for it, and we deliver the order to them. Now, they don't have to worry about social media because we have a head office page. However, they are encouraged to create their own local social media page. For example, if I live in Canterbury Bankstown, Little Boomers Basketball Canterbury Bankstown, they can create their own social media profiles with our guidelines and do their own posting. There's already 10 products, so we've got 10 different services. They don't need to create any products. They've already got 10 products that they can go offer to their territory. Remember what I said to you, business in a box. We've got a playbook, and every franchise should have a playbook on how to do every single part of the business, from finding and recruiting coaches. This is obviously in my business, finding and recruiting coaches, launching a new location, expanding your product, filling up your classes. A good franchise will have a playbook for each one of those elements. And finally, we have a coach, a franchise performance coach that is there to support the franchisee and to help their franchise scale their business. So what I just did there was give you a side-by-side comparison of what it would be starting from scratch, from the ground up in any type of business versus investing in a franchise. So by now, you should understand exactly what I mean by creating a business in a box. Now, I need to debunk 2 myths. I'm going to do a myth buster right now about what I just said. Okay, and people get this wrong all the time. I'll be taking phone calls about people interested in franchising, and I get these common things that come to me that couldn't be further from the truth. Myth busting. Number 1, hard work is a prerequisite for both. Please do not think that coming into a franchise with everything already established means that you do not have to work as hard as you have to do from starting a scratch. Hard work is a prerequisite for both. Whether you want to start from scratch, your own business, or you want to invest in a franchise, hard work is required from both. Don't think that because everything is there for you, you don't have to put the hard yards in. Couldn't be further from the truth, and people get that wrong all the time. The second myth is starting solo is cheaper. Now let's think about that for a second. As you probably already know, when you want to invest in a franchise, there's kind of an upfront capital that you need to pay, whether it's 30, 50 grand, $500,000. There's an upfront investment that you need to pay. A lot of people think that if they start on their own, it's a much cheaper alternative. Now, that is true. That is true to a certain extent because there is no big investment. However, let me tell you, coming from somebody that has started from the ground up, if your goal is to own a large company, like a really big company, and you've got big plans and you want your business to run without you, it might be cheaper at the start, but over time you're going to realize that all of these add up to thousands of dollars, right? But at the time, it's definitely cheaper. But as you begin to build your website, it's going to cost you a lot of money to have an IT department taking care of your website. As you begin to hire a marketing agency or some type of company to do your marketing, that's going to cost you a lot of money. As you begin to hire people, whether it's staff, an operations manager, a HR department, that's going to cost you a lot of money. As you begin to expand your product line and you need to do research and development, that's going to cost you a lot of money. So I just want you to understand that, yes, it is cheaper at the time starting on your own. However, if you're planning on doing a little part-time side hustle business, okay, you can, it's going to be low cost. But if you want to expand to a really big company, just understand that your expenses are all going to add up over time. Because I can tell you from firsthand experience, as a franchisor, I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on website, on marketing, on my IT department, on all those different types of aspects. So it does add up. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Now that you understand the difference, or hopefully you understand the difference between franchising, investing in a franchise, versus starting from scratch, in my next episode, I want you to stay tuned for it because I'm going to be giving you a checklist that you can use to determine which avenue you should go through based on your goals and your risk tolerance. Thank you very much for your time. I'll see you in the next episode. Adios.